think that first internal content is so much. Somewhere we struck up also. So I thought that till Friday, whatever I covered it, you will be having for your internal next week. Any objection?
Ma'am.
Pooja, tell me what you want to say. Starting from this Sunday. Okay. Till. Okay, fine. Monday you cannot write then. Okay, tell me.
Ma'am, it would be for the entire week, entire next week.
That you told me already, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So what you will do if the classes are there? You will not attend the class. You informed all the teachers that you will not attend the classes. Is that like that? Anything?
No, ma'am. Ma'am, we can attend classes, but writing an exam needs a certain level of concentration, and there's so much of sound around, it's not possible to write a paper at that point of time.
Snega, you are already prepared, no? You are going to only write the exam.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, because of this puja, there would be loudspeakers being played all around.
Okay, you already informed this to me. Okay, in that case, noise. Yeah, I understand. Okay, in that case, I will not be taking class. That's why I thought that I do not know. Okay, fine. We'll see when we can have. Be ready. Probably next after the week, third week, first Monday. Third week on Monday. What is the date?
Ma'am, 19.
19th of October.
18, 18, ma'am.
18th of October, you will be having your internal. Is it okay? Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. As you said, if the classes can have, you can attend the class means, I do not know how it will be. In case if I'm there, I have laptop, if internet connection is there, I may take the class also. Okay, if not, I'll post it that I will not, or I'll call Snega and tell. If the internet connection is not there, I'm not able to communicate you, then I'll tell Snega that there is no class. Anyone. So you have to pass on to all the class, all the students. Is it okay? This is our plan. Is it okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, finally the internal is postponed to third week of October, first Monday, that is on 18th, first point. Second point, next week I'm not cancelling the classes. Of course, I may not be there. In case I'm able to take the class, if internet connection is there, laptop is with me, I'll be taking class. If class is not there, I'll inform you. Okay? If I'm not informing you, wait for 10 minutes, 11:30 means 11:40, and just go off. Or you can say, obvious, I will announce it. If I announce it, if somebody wants to take the class, you can give the class to them. Is it okay? The plan is okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, right. Shall we go for the class now? In that case, we present it. Entire screen, share. Okay, fine. Hide. And what I have to present it now? 1 second. Able to see me PPT?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Students, you listen that data mining tasks are two, descriptive and predictive. In descriptive, we have concept and class, and you can go for the concept description and class description with the with the name of class and with the name of the concept. I said class is nothing but printer or software, anything, and concept is buying behavior of the customer, like that. One thing. And the concept description or class description can be derived through summarization or characterization, and if we summarize the collection of data to know the general behavior. So the words are generalization, summarization can be used, or characterization can be used for the description. And then one more concept is also there, that you can discriminate two classes, or you can discriminate two types, that is comparing the target class and contract class. I hope that till here you will not have any doubt. Please respond to my question.
No, ma'am, no doubts.
Yeah, I'm going on. This we have already covered. I'm showing you that I have covered all these things. So to derive the characterization, we have seen two approaches. Two approaches are OLAP, that we are not getting taken into consideration. We are only going for attribute orientation, that we have seen after getting the data using data mining query language converted to SQL. You are getting a table or relation, whichever the data you require. Using the generalization and attribute removal, we got this result, and then the identical tuples are merged together to have the count that we have seen, and we have presented the table. Till here we completed in the previous class. Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, shall we go to the next session? So here, analytical characterization, nothing, relevance of the attribute, how the attributes selected for the characterization are comparison, or comparison can be otherwise called discrimination. So the description is only discrimination. So since we have seen the characterization of a particular query, or probably I'll tell you the query in particular, that is nothing but the general characteristics of graduate students in a big university, that we have just given the generalization of the status of the graduate student. Fine. Now, you may compare two different students, graduate and undergraduate. So, what does it mean? The status is graduate, undergraduate, two classes are taken. So, you are comparing these two classes or the concept, you discriminate, you see the difference, or use contrast class and target class are taken into account for the comparison. For that, one more thing we have to see, that is analytical characterization to check what is the analysis of attribute relevance. That's all. So with this introduction, let us go. Why I'm not here also, I'm not adopting this OLAP. What is the reason to avoid it is that nothing. I will not read it. I'll tell you why it is. Yes, of course, there is generalization or multiple level of abstraction in both cases, OLAP and AOI, even though both are having this facility of concept hierarchy. Students, now do you understand what is concept hierarchy?
Yes, ma'am.
What, what is that? Tell me. I think Arnav is answering the question. Am I right?
No, ma'am, it was me, Atharu.
Athar, sorry, Athar. I could recognize your voice. Okay, Athar. Instead of Athar, is the Arnav. Athar, please tell me what is the concept hierarchy in 1 second. Just tell me what is that. Will you? If his audio is not good, I do not know. He is not speaking to me. In case he knows probably. It's only a multiple level of abstraction, whether you are going to the higher level or the lower level. In a concert, the hierarchy is maintained. If you want to go from street to country, that is higher. If you want to come from country to street, that is lower level. That we call it as the concept hierarchy. Instead of saying in all places at multiple levels of abstraction, generalization, summarization, we call it as concept hierarchy, which contains two stages. One is generalization, other one is specialization. Already I told you what is generalization. Going to the higher level, specialization is looking for the differences. I told transport, vehicle, then car, and then medium car. Coming to the lower level and seeing the differences specific, then we call that as a specialization. Students, do you know what is a concept hierarchy now?
Yes, ma'am.
Then tell me what is the concept hierarchy can be made in the date of birth. Date of birth.
Ma'am, is it like range, like the people can be categorized under 30, 30 to 35 according to the date of birth?
No, it's not like that. The concept hierarchy in the data is date, month, and year is given in a date of birth. Instead of writing, probably is right. Instead of writing that, you can put the age, first hierarchy. Or else, as he said, the range of or group of the age can be considered for anything. Is it right?
Yes, ma'am.
Then you can group it like young, middle, and adult. So this is higher. So young, middle, if you come to the date of birth, I want individual date of birth, then it becomes specific. So it is specialization. So generalization, specialization. Do you understand? All students, not only other and the one who answered now. All students, if you say yes, I proceed.
Yes, ma'am.
Differences between the OLA?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, good.
Yes.
Very good. So the similarity is there in both approaches, OLAP and then AOI. Whereas the difference is why we are going for AOI is that only the difference is that automation will not be there because such algorithms are not written. Here, too many algorithms are available for data mining. The way in which you want to use the algorithm for a specific problem and you can make it automated. Yes, of course, we have done one paper and it got published. That is text mining. We downloaded all the literature, whatever you want, automatically. Not going by the search keywords and whether it is relevant or not relevant, you will check and then you will store it in your hard disk. That is not done in this case. If you give the keyword, it will see whether it is relevant. If it has 60,000 million record, it will store it automatically only the abstract. If you see the abstract, then you can tell it whether it is relevant thing only will be mined. We have published on paper. So automated is possible. And this dimension or attribute relevance analysis ranking will be very easy and you can type whatever the query you want because the algorithm helps you which dimension, which measurement, which numerical value you want to have the mining. That sophisticated typing is also there, particularly analytical characterization, that is the relevance of the data. The approach is given as data dispersion analysis. What do you mean by analytical characterization or analytical comparison? People, students, that analytical characterization is general characterized or generalization, summarization, whereas analytical comparison is nothing but a difference between the two contract class and target class and the contract class. Already explained, this is what We call this attribute relevance analysis because we are going to select the relevant attribute for the mining. Mining may be function, data mining function may be classification, association, or clustering, or outlier analysis, or evolution analysis, whatever the function is. For that, we are going to do this relevant analysis. For example, since we have already taken characterization, we are going for analytical comparison. Why we need this relevance? Why you need to see the relevance of the attributes? Which dimension or slash attribute should be included? You should know. How high level of generalization? Of course, the level of our generalization is too heavy, too high. What is the purpose? Everything will come into picture. Again, everything will come into picture. You want to restrict the number of attributes which is relevant to your mind. When you go for a high level of generalization, too much generalization, if the threshold value is too much, then what is the purpose of going for high level generalization? Then you should know up to which level you can generalize. Understood this point? Understood?
Yes, sir.
The control of how high an attribute should be generalized should be known. You should have a control over it. How high an attribute should be generalized. Very important point. Too high generalization may lead to overgeneralization. We use that word overgeneralization. And the resulting information will be very informative, like everything will be added. We don't want that. We don't want to restrict. Or else, if the attribute is not generalized to sufficiently high level, suppose I am putting the word sufficiently high level. If it is not generalized to the way in which we want, sufficient high level, then it goes to under generalization. I am using the word under generalization. Means the result we are getting may not be informative either. You understand? So you should know how far you're going down. Overgeneralization should not be there, or undergeneralization should not be there. So you should know to what extent we give the threshold value for generalization. 50 attributes of the major can be allowed. If you feel that, you can give science, arts, engineering, fashion designing, like that. No, I don't want. I want only 20. 20 attributes should be there in the major. Then threshold value should be 20 attributes. Do you understand what I'm talking? Yes or no?
From this part, I did not.
Yeah. I'll go here. Here, we generalize this major, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Science, physics, chemistry, so many things we generalize. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
The generalization can be 10. Okay? Science, engineering, business, arts, something. If you generalize too much, what is the purpose of generalization? Again, everything will come into picture. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That is overgeneralization. Okay? Suppose you generalize to the lower level, only science, then engineering will not be there. Somehow or other, engineering will also be get into the graduate and graduate group. You want to see that. If not arts or any other fashion design. So you have to restrict to 10. Attribute generalization, threshold value of generalization is 10. Then 10 title can be given for the generalization. It is not under generalization. If you are giving too much low, then everything will come, and whatever you want to have restricted, you will may not have. That is under generalization. You got it? Got it?
Yes.
In case, how do you control this generalization? That's what we say. Controlled by giving threshold control. Attribute generalization, threshold control. The word I'm using, attribute generalization, threshold control. So, controlled generalization threshold value should be given. Or generalize the relation threshold control. Either you can control attribute wise, one attribute, two attribute, how many generalization operators should be, how many attributes should be there, you can generalize. Or the whole relation you can say that we call it as a generalized relation threshold control. When the example is come, when we discuss this example, I'll tell you what is that. So, how the level of generalization can be made? Automatic versus interactive. It should be automatic, doesn't mean that it should be completely done by automatic. If you ask for any interactive question, it should be in a question to make it. That's why we call it as automatic and interactive, and reduce the number of attributes, easy to understand the patterns, what you want, what is required, that pattern we want, not all the pattern, only for that reason, what is the pattern you want, what is the function you want to mind, it should be in a limited area. Why we go for attribute relevances? These are the points. Which we can do that is statistical method of pre-processing data. In a practical session, you will be seeing that literally how this pre-processing is done. Filter out irrelevant data or weakly relevant attributes. Irrelevant data should be filtered out, or weakly relevant data may not contribute much to the result. That is the reason we will remove it. Retain or rank the relevant attributes. Next step is you have to retain as we did in AOI, like that you have to retain or rank the relevant attributes. How do you do that? What are the steps in doing for checking the attribute relevance analysis? Students, tell me if you have any doubt here. Shall we go?
Ma'am, I had a question. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sorry. Ma'am, if we see real-time data, or means whatever examples we are having, or people are working on certain data, uh, are there any attributes that can never be generalized?
We have seen that. The criteria we have seen, if it never be generalized, you just remove the attributes, not required for general characteristics.
Okay, so and if one attribute is generalized in certain data, but in another set of data, it cannot be generalized. Can that happen?
100% can happen. Again, the attributes selection is in your hand, what you want actually. Now, suppose if you want to see my age, without data of birth attribute, can you see my age? The group of the people between 50 to 60, age group. Okay, if that attribute is removed by you in mining, will you see the group age? So in some query, there is generalization or characterization. Age is also an important factor. Somehow or other you remove the date of birth. Then you will see the age group for this who are already graduate students studying in science. Will you be in a position to give a result for the query?
No, ma'am.
So how does you find that attribute is relevant? By you only. Because what is the query? What do you want? What do you want? Which attribute is relevant? Which attribute is not relevant? What can be generalized? What should not be generalized? Is in your hand. If it is a standard format, you can automate it. or customers. Ask more question if you don't understand.
No, ma'am, I understood, ma'am.
Yeah, generally, let me say something here. Since you have started this, I wanted to go there. Since attribute generalization threshold control is in your hand to control the generalization, normally the default attribute threshold value is 2 to 8. It is fixed in the data mining algorithm. You can have 2 to 8 attributes. It is default. If you want to have more, you can go for 20, not 8. But lower level, you cannot go further because it is only 2. That also depends on you. So this attribute generalization threshold control is in your hand. It's too higher. Okay, go for 10. Or 20 means too high. So 2 to 10 attributes can be there. Okay, do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, and also if we move from one level to another, even there also means we can choose, no?
Yeah,
If
sure.
it is significant or
All in our hand, brother. Whatever we want, we can do it. But you should know how to do it. That's what we are explaining. Okay, in other case, I told you generalized relation threshold value. How many couples need to be there in the relation? You can decide that. Understood?
yes, yes, ma'am.
Mean to say that here we don't know how many couples are there. This row we call it as tuple. Am I right? Do you know that the tuple is a row?
Yes, ma'am.
Suppose you want to have a generalization over the relation. So you can fix the threshold value for having data mining system. Default is 10 to 30, but you can adjust that if you feel the generalization is too small. Only 10 to 30 tuples are there. No, I want from 10 to 100. Fine, you can go for it. Increase the threshold or drill down, decrease it as you wish, by which you can control the mining to a better way of, for the better way of this. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
That's all. Okay. Now we can go for what is that? Where I am? Yeah. So now we are going to see the attribute relevance analysis. What are the steps need to be done as we have done in AOI? What is AOI? Attribute Orientation Induction. There we focused on data focusing, and then generally if generalization operator is there, if it is possible, we applied it. Otherwise, if it has too many distinct values, just remove the attribute. And then identical were merged and given the presentation. Here, first you have to collect the data, analytical generalization, and you are using some algorithm or the method to analyze whether highly relevant or weakly, the attributes are weakly relevant or highly relevant, whether it can be included. That we are not getting into is little mathematics involved. What kind of things are we are using? This is used in practical. You can see that how we are seeing whether it is relevant or not relevant. Then finally relevant analysis, then sort and select the most relevant dimension intervals. Then you apply for AOI for class description or concept description or class discrimination. Shall I? These are the steps need to be used for analytical characterization. For analytical characterization, we are going for these steps. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. the method used to check whether the attributes are relevant or weakly relevant, whatever you say, they compute some measure to quantify the relevance of the attribute. The methods are information gain ratio, Gini index, or expert contingency table statistics, or uncertain coefficient. These options are given in your practical. It does the job. Whichever you want, you can select it. That is relevant measure. Now, we will apply this analytical characterization by mining a class comparison. Okay, we have done the relevance measure after getting the relevant attribute. Now we are going for analytical characterization. Since we have gone for characterization, now we are going to mind the class comparison using these steps. Any doubt? Stop me here. Any doubt? Stop me here. Shall I? Shall I? Shall I go? Hello? சொல்லுமா என்னன்னு சொல்லு கிளாஸ்ல. சரிம்மா பார்த்துக்கோ, கிளாஸ் முடிச்சுட்டு கால் பண்ணு சரியா? Sorry, there is some disturbance. Okay, comparing two or more classes. Now, literally, we are going to see comparing two or more classes. So, method, how we are going to do this? First, we will partition the set of relevant data into the target class and the contrast class. What does it mean? The data using that relevance measure, previous slide we have seen, using that algorithm, we will get the relevant data for the probably target classes, graduate class, postgraduate class, we have seen already. And the contrast class is UG, undergraduate class. So partition first both the relevant data, then apply the generalization to both classes to the same high-level concept. Students listen, what is given? The threshold value of the generalization, whatever the concept hierarchy, whatever the level of abstraction you are using to generalize in the target class, same should be applied to the contrasting class also. After that, compare the tuples with the same high-level description, come to a conclusion. Then present for every tuple its description and two measures, support distribution within single class, comparison distribution within. We'll see with an example you will come to know. Highlight the tuple with a strong discriminant feature. So many discrimination is there, difference are there. Whichever you want, you just highlight only those tuples with a strong discriminant, means strong difference between the two target class and the contrasting class. Then you will be in a position to understand. So undergraduate students are very different from graduate students only in this criteria. So after that, we come to know relevance analysis. What features need to be added for data mining function, which is best to distinguish between the classes. These steps are need to be applied within an example. To an example, let me see an example. Shall I start going for an example? If you have any doubt, please ask yourself. Ask yourself. Should I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now we are going to apply analytical comparison. In the sense, we are going to take two classes and we are going to compare it. The query is compare graduate and undergraduate student using discriminant rule. Whatever we have seen so far, same thing we are going to do it but two classes are taken into consideration and we are going to make it. So what is this? Just read the DML query for 1 minute. What is that? Now you are in a position to understand the query. Use the database, relevant task. What is the data mining knowledge to be mined? That is comparison, graduate versus undergraduate, in relevance with these attributes. What is the status? Graduate for graduate students, where the status you have to give it in the result for graduate, you have to give the name for the result, that is graduate, versus undergraduate students, where status is undergraduate, the result of undergraduate students should be in the undergraduate. How many students are there in both cases, and from the student table you have to select these attributes. The attributes are common for graduate and undergraduate. The query is understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Shall we proceed? So we are going to see the class comparison. So as we did using this query, we get the data in a relational table. Once the query is given to the big university database, you will get the query and you have to partition the data which is given in two initial working relation. The target class is a graduate student. The initial working relation for the contrasting class is the undergraduate student. You got it? We got the data from for how we got the data by writing the data mining query language to the database big university. So we got with the same, you see, name, gender, major, birthdays, every attribute is same, and the generalization should also be to the same level. The threshold values, if you want to have 2 to 8, you should just leave it to the default value, or 2 to 10. Make it for both table 2 to 10 for the major, or any attribute. Okay, now first I'll tell you the data collection is nothing but the set of relevant data collected by querying and partitioned respectively to target class and the context. That is it. The second point is dimension relevance analysis. So here you have to use that method. All the data, all the attributes are relevant or irrelevant using the method. I have mentioned it here. Information gain ratio. Any method can be applied to these two tables and get the relevant data. Second, dimension relevance analysis done. Third one is synchronized generalization. How do you generalize performed on the target class to the same level by the user? Threshold value should be given to the both the classes. We get prime target class relation, first one. The second one is prime contrasting class relation. That is, we will get two prime relation as we did in AOI. You can see that here, synchronized generalization. Dimensions relevant analysis performed to remove the irrelevant dimension, and then we get prime target and contrasting relation. You are getting two tables. First, let me tell everything and then come for explanation. The fourth one is presentation. You can present in the form of any table, graph, or rules. And then you compare the undergraduate student with the graduate student and come to a conclusion. What is the conclusion given is the graduate students tend to be older and have higher CGPA in general. Of course, they will be older in general. We know graduate students or postgraduate students. Of course, they will have older, and this have higher GPA in general. Mean to say that once they enter into PG, they have seriousness and they are having high CGPA. So we compare the undergraduate student with the postgraduate student and come to this conclusion. So how do we do this? Shall I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we'll see. Okay, first point is that data collection. Second point is that relevance analysis. Third point is that synchronized generalization. Fourth point is presentation, as we did in AOI. Let us go to, after getting the data by the query given, we are getting this. Okay, fine. I got a relation, and I want to know whether these are a related attribute by using dimension relevant analysis by using that method. In that, what we have done, synchronized generalization. As we did, name is not taken, name is not taken, phone number is not taken. What is not taken then? Residence is not taken. We want to see only the discrimination of PG students. So what other, ask me some question. In what major, what is the age group, what is the CGPA, and how many students are there? This is my query. Why I want all this? Name is not required, gender is not required. In which major they are having GPA? Probably with the birthday. The residence is not required, the birthplace is not. I am not concerned about the general characteristics of the post-graduation. I am only concerned with the CGPA and their age. In which age? I want this only, my query restricted only. Then what is the purpose of having all these attributes, even though the values and the given in the database? Because when you ask for the undergraduate, graduate students from the database, it will give you the table, complete table of graduate students from a student table. Whatever the attribute is there, it will give you. Whatever the attributes are there in the undergraduate student table, it has given. Now, using this method, we have completely removed the relevant data for the synchronization. We synchronize these two with only the relevant data. We call the table as prime target, and other one is prime contrasting relation. Do you understand? Prime target class relation or prime target contrasting class relation. We got this. So, major only age. So, what we have done this major, we have generalized, major, age, CGPA count. So, what we have taken? Major we considered, age we considered. Not birthplace, not gender, not name, not residence. So, major what we have done? We have generalized only to science. So, science is the major attribute, generalization operator, we have generalized to science. Birth date, we have generalized to age group. That's all. And we want CGPA. We already done that. Very excellent and good, very good. So, three only we want, and these three are generalized here. You see, major to the science or business or and age group is given. CGPA, very good or excellent. And the identical tuples are grouped together for this age group, 21 to 25 if they belongs to science, and if they secure good CGPA, all identical. This identical will occur only when you generalize it. Otherwise, you cannot have identical because the age group, different ages will be there. Your age group you generalized. And you generalize the group assigns either physics, chemistry, or mathematics, whatever they belong to science. Once you generalize it, then only many identical groups will come. So for this age group, the people who belong to science, secure good CGPA is 5.53%. Understood? For this age,
Yes, ma'am.
for this age group, science, they good for this age group, 45.02. Very good this match. So the count percentage is given. Now you can compare these two tables and give it in any form, chart form, table form for the presentation. That's what. Previously, we have done characterization, general characteristics of the undergraduate students. Here we have seen comparing the undergraduate student and the graduate student. Okay, the result is that. What is the result? So you can given in any form. So what is the result? You can see that 22.232 is good for between 26 and 30. You see here 26 and 30, it is good, but only 5.2 percentage here, 2.32 percentage. You can compare it like that. In a science, you can see that between the age group 26 and 30, secured good CGPA are 5%, 5.2%. Whereas the same age group, science, secured good CGPA is only 2.32% in the undergraduate contrasting class. So the CGPA between the UG and PG is the PG is high. That's what we want to say. Understood? Likewise, anything can be compared and you can see discriminate the characteristics. Understood? That's what the resulting is given compared to the undergraduate students. The graduate students tend to be older. Let us see whether it is true. Of course, it will be true. Tend to be older, and then you see that have higher CGPA in general. In general, PG students have a higher GPA in the same age group. That's what. We discriminated also. Last time we have seen the general characteristic. This we have discriminated. And there we explain what is attribute relevance. Students, all these things what we have seen today is only to generalize these things. Please excuse me, one important point. Please excuse me 1 second. I'll come back to you. Tell me please. Hello? சொல்லுங்க. ஆமா பார்த்தேன். ஆனா நீங்க 4 o'clock ஃப்ரீயா? We'll meet. 4 o'clock நான் ஜாயின் பண்றேன். ஓகே? அதுக்கு முன்னாடி நம்ம போன்ல கூட டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாம். வாட் we need to ask. எனக்கு 1 minute கொடுங்க. கிளாஸ் இருக்கேன். முடிச்சுட்டு நான் கால் பண்றேன். நீங்க ஃப்ரீயா? ஒரு 2 minutesல கால் பண்றேன். Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, fine. Here, now we have seen the attribute-oriented induction in order to select the, in order to have the general characteristics of a graduate or anything. And discrimination, class comparison. You can say class comparison or concept comparison. Both has been done using AOI and analytical characteristic. Any doubt here? So what I would like to say that is that two functions, data mining functions, has been carried out with an example and explain how to get the general characteristics, how to compare. Any doubt in that? If you want more clarity, you can take two examples which is given in the website. So many things are given for characterization and comparison. Take it and see, compare it, and you will come to know how it has been done with only four following points: data collection, synchronization, and then relevance analysis, and then present the result. These three steps are very important, and fourth step presentation is as usual. Is it okay? Yes or no?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Here we are explaining the concept hierarchy. Students listen. Here the main point of going for this one is generalization. What do you mean by generalization is concept hierarchy? What is concept hierarchy? With everything comes into picture in this AOI, characterization and discrimination. To certain extent, you will know what is concept hierarchy. Now, then, with this knowledge, we'll move on to classification. Those things are done. Those are also data mining functions. Those things are carried out by using different algorithm. Classification, we use different algorithm. Association, we use different algorithm. Clustering, we use different algorithm. Those algorithm does the job of data mining function. We'll see one by one. That is your syllabus. Is it okay? If this is okay, shall I close the session? One more major issues in data mining that is given in your syllabus, very theoretical. I'll take it on Friday. Friday.
Ma'am,
Hmm?
ma'am, is there any book that we can refer for this query language?
Please come again. What you're asking?
Ma'am, is there any textbook which we can refer for to understand the?
Yeah, you can refer the book that is what book I can suggest you this back.
Ma'am, the one in the syllabus I referred, but
Yeah,
they
that
don't have examples.
reference book. Those reference books are very good books actually given in the reference syllabus. You can see that, but I would like to say that many examples are in the website with clarity. Books, too many mathematical equations are given in between. I extract the things I'm telling you only the concept being a biology students. I'm just making you to understand what is data mining. But all these things are done by the algorithm. You will understand that when you go for practical. And yes, if I don't take class, the people who are recording it can stop the recording. Who is recording it? Subhash?
Ma'am, stop it.
Thank you. Here, let me say something what I started. My goodness, I forgot. What I started? Yeah. In case if I'm not available, so I may ask our people to start your practicals. So the pre-processing steps will go ahead while I'm coming. Next week, classification will start. Simultaneously, practical classes will also go. Is it okay for you? Very
Okay,
initial
ma'am.
stage of pre-processing will be discussed by the students. Because since I'm not there, they can start the practicals. Even I can join wherever I am. Is it okay? You will not waste the time. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And don't worry, if there is a holiday for puja, 100% I will not take class. Enjoy. Any holiday is declared by university? October? Any holiday is declared?
Ma'am, I think it's on 14th October.
October.
And 15th is restricted one.
14th, 15th. Thursday and 15th, and yeah. 19th is also holiday. October 14th, 15th. Yeah, 14th, 15th is a holiday. So we'll not take class on 14 and 15. Is it okay? 14 onwards, no class.
Okay, ma'am.
Any request from your side? Is it okay?
Ma'am,
So,
how about this week, ma'am? Do we have lab this week?
do we have
Thursday?
lab this week? Do we have lab? When you have your lab?
Ma'am, according to timetable, it's from 2:30 on Thursday.
Yeah, we can start the lab this week. Shall we start the lab this week? Because next Thursday is holiday. Shall we start the lab this week?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm asking everyone, not only Subhash.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Then we'll start it. Because pre-processing, you understood what it is, isn't it? If you go with practical, you'll be in a position to understand proper. Shall we? Yes. We'll start the practicals because no objection. We'll start the practicals on coming Thursday. So be ready. Friday, I'll complete the portion for the test. Next